So we're going to do an assignment in Alex today. I've never done this before, but I think I got it figured out. So you're going to be looking at two types of problems, and in these problems, you need to solve for x. So there are two types of factoring. Either you pull something out, or you use the box. Which one is this? Pull out an x. So both of these share an x. So one of them is x times x. That's a 6. X times x, and the other one is 6 times x. So I'm going to take out one of the x's. What's left? X minus 6. Now that's equal to 0. So for every x, you write equals 0. X equals 0, and x minus 6 equals 0. First one's already done, and the other one you add 6, and you end up with x equals 6. So the answers are 0 and 6. Okay. What about this? Well, this is 2, oh, and we need equals 0. 2 times x minus 2 times 3 times x. What do they both share? A 2 and an x. So I'm going to take out a 2 and an x from both of them. And what's left? 2x and negative 9. Then I write equals 0 on both of them. So 2x equals 0, and 2x minus 9 equals 0. What do I do? So over here, dividing by 2, if you have nothing and you cut it into 2 pieces, how big is each piece? Nothing. If you have nothing and you give it to 2 people, how many does each person get? Nothing. So the answer is 0. And over here we add 9. And then what? And then we divide by 2. And I get x equals 9 over 2. And we pretty much don't use mixed numbers anymore. So you might say 2.5, 2 and 1/2, or sorry, not 2.5, 4 and 1/2, or 4.5. We usually just leave them as fractions 9 over 2, because it's a lot easier to deal with 9 over 2 than it is to deal with 4 and 1/2. Okay, what about this? We have to use the box. So I draw the box, and I put in x squared and negative 30. Multiply those together. So x squared times negative 30 is negative 30x squared. Okay. The factors of 30 are 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, 4 doesn't work, 5 and 6. Can I create a negative 7 using one of those lists? Negative 10 and 3. And because it's x squared, it's actually 3x and negative 10x. What do I do with those? Put them in the two squares that are open. 3x, negative 10x. I look at the top row. What do x squared and 3x have in common? X. If I yank out an x, what's left? X plus 3. And if I take this x out of that column, I get negative 10. So my factors are x plus 3 and x minus 10. Is everybody okay so far? So I write x equals 3, and x minus 10 equals, subtract 3, x equals negative 3, and I add 10, and x equals 10. Anybody struggle with that? No? Okay, what if I get something like this? Yeah. I need it to equal 0 in order to factor it. And when I put the subtract 8x on the other side, where am I going to place it? I need to put it right here. In order to factor, it makes a lot more sense to have everything in order. X squared minus 8x plus 15. Draw the box. I put in x squared, and I put in 15. X squared times 15 is 15x squared. The factors of 15 are 1 and 15. 2 doesn't work. 3 and 5. And 4 doesn't work. Can I build a negative 8 using one of those sets? So I write negative 3x and negative 5x. Pull out an x. If I take an x out, I get x. If I take an x out, I get negative 3. And if I take an x out of here, I do negative 5. My factors are x minus 3 equals 0, and x minus 5 equals 0. And then you just add 3 and add 5. X equals 3 and 5. You guys handle that? So I believe I have assigned that to you in Alex, so grab a Chromebook, your Chromebook, and we'll see if I did it correctly.